So, good morning. Today, we'd like to talk something about yes, here we are here. So, I would like to talk something about this one here, defining cleanup actions in exceptions or any other kind of problems here, or any other kind of programs here. Let me show you one specific quick example to you why cleanup is required. What is the basic idea to have this cleanup here? In the sense, look at this. I have create one particular file. Let me say some file descriptor will be equal to open. Let me say I'd like to open one particular file. The file might be anything here. Let me say my file, my file.txt, my file.txt in a write mode. So let me say in write mode. For example, if I would open this particular file like this, and since it is in writing mode, you could able to write so some data onto the particular file here. So let me so take some kind of data here. Let me take some kind of data, only one particular information here. So that is some string s equal to input of, let me take something like this, input of, and fd dot write, so of this particular yes. Okay, whatever the thing you are expected to write, yes, you can write over there. Let me say file clean. Okay, let me execute this one for a while. My data will be welcome to RCE. This is the data here. So your file has created successfully. Your file has created because you have taken one particular file. File name is my file.txt. This is my file, and observe one particular issue here, a very important issue here. So why cleaning is required? So that is the basic idea to be have for the cleaning is required here. So here is my file will be gets created somewhere else. Let me make them somewhat bigger. So a file will be my file will be gets created here somewhere else. This one, this is my file, and if I would consider, I'd like to delete this particular file at this point, at this moment. So if I'm trying to apply for delete, you can see a message will be given to you. So the message will be seems that the action cannot be completed because the file is open in Python. Because in your Python code, you did not close that particular file. Since you are not closing that particular file, Python is one of the resources. That particular resource has used this particular file here. The file has been used by the Python resource. Python is one kind of a resource, and the file my file is my file.txt is another resource. So that is why you must close this particular file after completion of your activity here. So your activity here is, this is your activity. So you just open your file and you do some kind of activities, some kind of operation on the file. So let us consider I did some writing operation on this particular file, and I'd like to perform some kind of write onto that particular file. Some data has been written onto the particular file. Now, if I would go to the actual place where exactly this file has been created, so here the file was created. If you are trying to delete this particular file, this file cannot be deleted here, since it has been used by the Python. So therefore, if you go for try again, it should not be deleted. It should not be deleted. Why it was happened here in the sense? So you did not close that particular file. After completion of your operation, so fd.close can be gets operated by you. So now let me execute one more time of this particular program. So let me execute this one. Right. So I'd like to welcome to Ramchandra College of Engineering. Let me execute this one. Yes, your file has been opened, and write this particular data onto the file. Yes, you can see your data has been written onto the file. And if you open this one, so look at this. Welcome to Ramchandra College of Engineering. Has done. Okay, it has been done here. Now, if you are trying to delete this particular file, since you have operated this what you call close operation, resource was completely closed by you. The file resource my file.txt was closed completely. So therefore, if you are trying to delete that particular file at this moment, yes, it can be possible. It could be deleted. So if you go and check with your recycle bin, let me open recycle bin here, where it is. So it is not the recycle bin. For example, somewhere else it could be. Okay, recycle bin cannot be visible here. Recycle bin here. Let us go ahead with this particular recycle bin. Yes, my file.txt somewhere else it is. Yes, this one. Okay, let me empty this one here. Empty this particular thing. Let me show you everything one more time. Delete everything from recycle bin, and let me execute one more time. You could have some kind of better idea. So let me delete this particular, not delete. Let me make this particular thing as a comment line, and trying to operate the same again. So welcome to same. Let me copy the same kind of data here, and paste here. Okay, let me take this one. Yes, your file has been created. So your file has been created here. So look at this. Your file was created, myfile.txt. Since you haven't closed that particular file, so look at this. You are not yet closed that particular file. Close was made into comment. So now you are trying to delete this particular file. The same message will be displayed to you again. So within this particular respect, you require to operate this particular command. So this particular command is pretty much important while we are trying to open any file. So let me execute one more time for you. So let me copy the same data here. Okay, and then so let me go ahead with this particular file here. So this particular file here. So look at this. Welcome to Ramchandra College of Engineering. So everything is there with you, and our file gets closed completely. Your file gets closed completely, and you are not using. I mean, this file resource. This resource is not supposed to be used by your Python at this moment. So therefore, if you delete this particular file, it will be deleted. You can see the recycle bin. Yes, you have myfile.txt. You can have this myfile.txt with this particular recycle bin. You can see this is the recycle bin. So, however, what exactly you require, what exactly you need to understand this particular concept here is, so if many number of files are supposed to be opened by you in a big project. So if you do this particular operation, for a while, let me say you have opened approximately some 300 files and you forget to write fclose. I mean, file fd.close, file descriptor.close was forgotten by you, then it is the biggest problem for you, because huge amount of random access memory can be gets occupied. Huge amount of random access memory can be gets occupied, so that your random access memory can be consumed like anything. Therefore, you require defining cleanup actions. This is required. I'm talking about redefined cleanup actions in other kind of operations here. So as far as exception handling, defining cleanup is different. And redefining cleanup actions in other kind of issues will be different. I'm talking about this particular topic, redefined cleanup actions here. Okay. So now if you do the same kind of operation one more time, so your file cannot be deleted because you don't have any close operation here. So to avoid this one, cleanup action can be done something like this. This is the way you have to do the cleanup action. There is another command with, already we have discussed this one, open. So myfile.txt, my, okay, small m, my file dot txt. So as so fd. Now you could understand this particular command can be always used to define, this particular command is always to use it to open our file in read mode, not write mode, in read mode. Okay, it must be in read mode. So let us say, so I'd like to open this particular file in my new file. Let me take it as a text file and copy with myfile.txt. Just open this one. So let me copy from this particular area. Here I have so much data is there with me. So just to copy this particular data here and apply for save. Apply for save. Okay. Then close it. Then close it. Okay. Now you can open this myfile.txt. This is the data you have with you. This is actually this data is actually in the previous class explanation data. However, so it has been there with you. Now, so here this with open command is always trying to so open our file in read mode, and soon the operation will be gets completed. Let me write some kind of operation here. So let me say, so txt text will be equal to, so fd dot read line, only one line I am supposed to read here, single line I am trying to read here. Now while, so let me say txt, so not equal to this one, up to this particular area, I mean not equal to null. So I'd like to so print the data txt and apply for one more time as read line. Apply for one more time as a read line here. Apply, so same read line here again, and let me close this particular. My program is gets over here. Now here you could see I did not apply fd.close. I did not apply any fd.close. So save this particular article file and execute this one. So what is this? What is the message here? Oh, sorry. Here it is required. I'm sorry, it is required. So it must be taken. So as a, sorry for this, it must be required. Sorry. Okay. However, let me execute this one. Yes, whatever the data it is available with this particular file, everything has been displayed for you. Everything has been displayed for you. Obviously, your file also be closed. Okay. With open is always trying to open our file in read mode. So after performing every operation within that particular area, yes, everything has been done. After completion of this particular activity, I mean this particular operation, file is automatically closed. File is automatically closed. You can see this one. Let me delete this particular file for a while. Yes, it could be gets deleted. There is no problem. It could be deleted. Already deleted. This is recycle bin. You can see this one. So one more myfile.txt. This myfile might be having 614 bytes, and this is having 45 bytes. So therefore, so clean up this particular code will be gets operated something like this here. If you forget to close the file, obviously, so it is very big difficult to be so taken into consideration, so that another command is available for all other activities in terms of files will be with open. If I would perform the same operation, let me make this particular operation as so comment. If I would perform the same operation here, so fd will be equal to open. open. So my file dot txt, my file dot txt in read mode, for example, in read mode. If I would perform the same operations again, so without close, same operation will be done by me without close. So what would be happen? Let us have a look here. Let us have a look here. What would be happen? Let me adjust everything here. Okay, let's adjust everything here. Okay, I did not close this one here. I did not close this particular file. I did not use this particular thing right now. Okay, let me create one more time the same file here, my file dot. Let me restore this one here. If I would restore, the file will be so available here. The file will be again available here. Now I'd like to perform the operations for this particular thing. So look at this. So if I would execute this particular thing, same kind of data, whatever the data which has been available within this particular file, everything has been displayed as it is, and our program has been completed, so that you got this particular prompt here. The shell prompt has been displayed, triple greater than has been displayed. Your program is gets over. Now try to delete your file right now. Try to delete this particular file right now. Let me delete this particular thing. Same kind of activity will be done, because you did not close that particular file. Since it is not closed, so Python has been used this particular myfile.txt resource. So therefore you are not supposed to be so delete this particular file, because operation has not been completed by you through so what you call Python here. So that is why code cleanup is required. Code cleanup is required here. Code cleanup is 100% required as and when so you are trying to do this one here. So let me apply fd.close, so close, and then execute this particular command again. I mean this particular program again. Displayed everything is same, and our problem is gets over. And if you are trying to delete the file at this moment, it is okay, because you have closed that particular file. So resource is not used by Python right now. So if I would delete this one, yes, it could be. So that is why always, so what you call this code cleaning is always required. Okay, so code cleaning in terms of files will be with open your file name as your file descriptor. You could do this one, and then you have to follow your own operations. Then it could be performed. So particular operations what you require in terms of reading, and then automatically file will be closed. Automatically file will be closed. So that is why we need a redefine cleanup actions in terms of other operations is required. Now, defining cleanup actions in terms of exception handling. In terms of exception handling, I hope that you understood what redefining cleanup actions in other operations. I have had a talk with you on files. Okay, on files only, I had a talk with you. Now, hope that this is understood. Now, defining cleanup actions in terms of exception handling. What do you mean by this here? So always exception handling. Already day before yesterday, we have discussed this particular program. This particular program has discussed in the previous class. So I have tried something here. So there might be having some zero division error, otherwise index error will be there with you. Let me write some other also. So if you are not interested in this particular program, so let me write some other also. So I'd like to write after some time. So if you omit this particular thing, if you omit finally class, I mean finally clause here, CLAUSE clause here, obviously you could not understand whether so-called exception has been evaluated properly or not. And if it is evaluated, so certain number of operations are supposed to be left over without execution. So look at this. So here it is list of 0, list of 1, list of 2, list of 3, and list of 4. Totally 4 elements are there with you. You are trying to take less than or equal to 5. So sixth element, you are trying to take the sixth element here. So there is no sixth element in your list. So therefore index error will be generated for you. Let me execute this one for a while, then you could understand. Then you could understand here. So enter a number. So number will be, let me say some 5. So look at this. There is one particular so error was not error actually, index error has been occurred. So index error, because of index error we have so performed this particular except index error has taken, and we have displayed our own message here. But you could not understand whether it has been done properly or not. Yes, it is done, but so you could also specify so finally block, and you can write. So the code was executed successfully with an exception. So normally finally block is always trying to execute with exception or without exception. For example, there is no exception here. Even then, finally can be gets executed. For example, if I take some 4, so totally 4 elements are there with me. Of course, 5 elements are there with me. 0 to 4 is totally 5. So look at this. I'd like to execute this one for a while here. My number is, let me take some particular number here, some 15. My number is 15. I did some operation here. So though there is no exception, but finally block code was executed successfully. So that you could assume that yes, your exception was handled or not handled properly. So handled properly, not handled in the sense there is no exception which was raised. So therefore the exceptions were not there here. Even then you could understand that yes, your so exceptions are being executed properly. So to apply or to know the status of your execution of piece of code, so you need to take the help of so this particular finally block. If finally block will be there, so code cleanup is so successful in terms of exceptions. In terms of exceptions, it is successful. If finally block is not there, you could not understand whether so there might be handled properly or not handled properly. So that is what you are expected to so perform here. This is the way you need to understand. So defining cleanup actions in exceptions. Defining cleanup actions in exceptions in the sense in the presence of finally, so you have defined. If you omit the finally, then there is no so cleanup actions in exceptions. In presence of finally, yes it is. In terms of finally, yes it is. Okay. So this is the way you could defining so-called exceptions here. I mean cleanup actions here. Defining cleanup actions are required. Finally block in exceptions. Redefining cleanup actions will be required with class. I mean with the command in files. With the command in files. So these are the two different types of topics which are left over with exceptions here. A very important kind of thing because you need to have to attempt the same in terms of your final examinations as well. I'm sure that you could get approximately so 3 sets. What is defining cleanup of actions and what is redefining cleanup of actions. You must specify a piece of code which will be illustrate both of them. So two programs must be written by you. So one program can be seen something like this with open. Second program can be seen as you can take anything. I have taken this example. You can take anything. Okay, something like this here. These are the two different types of so topics which are left over with exceptions here. Now, let me introduce the graphical user interfaces. Let me introduce the graphical user interfaces. So let me open MS Word, Microsoft Word for you for a while. Okay. Okay, so here it is Microsoft Word. You need to understand certain number of issues here. So look at this. So if you observe this particular window, if you observe this particular window, so you could see this one here. This is a particular window. Window might be having certain number of, okay, let me copy this particular object to MS Paint and let me explain. Okay, MS Paint and let me explain here. Copy this one and alter print screen, and go for what is this? MSPAINT. So look at this. This is the object where exactly you have with you. So within this particular thing, you need to understand many issues. Look at this. So hope that you could have some kind of information here. Document. Okay, you can observe this one here. You can observe this one here. Document. So let me take some other color, then you can understand this one. This document will be considered as title of the window. And this whole thing right away from this particular area to this particular area, this whole thing will be considered as title of the window. Out of that particular title, so you do have one specific data here. That specific data is called as title of the window. And here you can observe MS Word button here, MS Word icon here. This is called as so menu bar. So if I would operate, look at this, MS Paint will be there here. Let me open MS Word again. So if I would click here, it will be open one menu here. Within this menu, restore, move, size, minimize, maximize, close. So it is a menu here. And then whatever the white space you are looking here, this particular entire white space will be called as canvas. So on this particular canvas, you could able to write anything here. And if you observe, there are a certain number of things which are available here. So those things will be, look at this MS Paint. So here is one particular file. If I would click on that one, it will open one particular menu here. Okay, this is menu bar, and here it is. Here there is no menu bar actually. Here it is called as ribbon. So in MS Word, it has been considered as ribbon, and of course, menu has been simplified, and they have prepared as a ribbon here. Within this particular ribbon, many number of things are available. Let me open one specific operation here. So look at this. This is called as message box. What I am carried out here. This is called as message box. Within this particular message box, something is available here. Let me copy only this one. And paste to MS Paint back. And let me explain what are the properties of all this here. So look at this. Here it is. You can see this one here. So this one is called as whatever the thing you have taken into consideration. So this one is called as a text box. Okay, and this one is called as whatever the thing which we have to taken into consideration. This one is called as so spinner in the sense, if you click on that, the values are going to be, look at this. Okay, values are going to be increased, values are going to be decreased. So that is why that is called as spinner. And this is called as the text box. This is the text box. And whatever the thing which we have displayed here, that is called as a list box. And you can see under alignment, let me make somewhat bigger, then you could understand what I'm speaking. So you can see this one here. So some under alignment, there are certain number of circles and having some kind of data here. So these are called as radio buttons. They are called as radio buttons. Under leader, so here also something here, it is also called as radio buttons. All these are called as radio buttons. And you can observe this one here. So the set, the clear, and the clear all these are called as buttons. And if I would open one more, if I would open one more, if I would open one more, let me copy this one again to MS Paint, then you could understand very clearly what I'm speaking here. You can see this one here. You can see this one here. Auto correct. There is one particular so thing here. Auto correct is one tab, TAB. Math auto correct. It is one more tab. Auto correct for you type as you type. So auto format, actions, all these are called as tabs. And you can observe this one. There is a tick mark of many things here. These are called as check boxes. Check boxes. They are called as check boxes. Okay, and this is a list box. So this is list box. Okay, here also this is also check box, and these two are considered as radio buttons. Difference between checkbox and radio button is an optional button. So out of many options, so you can see here, you can see here, so left, center, right, decimal, bar. Out of this, you could only select one of the options here. Let me open MS Word again. Let me open MS Word again. So look at this one here, magnifier. Let me take magnifier. So let me take magnifier and I will show you the magnification here. So you can see this one here. So out of this one, alignment, under alignment, I could able to select only one option. I could able to select only one option here, not all. You could observe this one here, not all. Only one option can be get selected. Here also only one option can be get selected, not more than one here. So that is what you need to understand regarding to optional. Whereas if you observe this one, if you observe, let me open one more thing. This one only, autocorrect. If you observe this one here, you could able to select as much as many. So look at this. I don't want this one. I don't this one. I don't this one. I don't this one. Only this one is required. Yes, you can only select only that. So wanted to this one. Yes, you can. 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 Something like here. Okay, something like here. So therefore, you could able to checkbox in the sense it is optional button, and so sorry, checkbox in the sense it is all checking kind of thing. Any number of options can be selected. Optional button in the sense only one thing will be get selected there. Only one thing will be get selected there. To enable all these things using Python, what you are supposed to do? So graphical user interface kind of activities, how you can perform these operations here. These operations will be done by using one particular so new file. Before going to take a new file, so there is one particular module. That module is called as import. So tk inter. There is a module tk inter. Okay, there is a module here. So dir, if you observe tkinter, if you take this particular thing, you can see as much as many number of so members are there within this particular module. You can observe this one here. So here some label frame, list box, and then multiple, so many dot box, command box, okay, current, call wrapper, cascade, many. Okay, many things are available here as far as the graphical user interface is supposed to be considered. Then how could you do this one here? How could you do this one? Look at this check button. Okay, name, package, and then solid line, single line, separator line. Okay, radio button, something like that. Many other things are available here. So how could you do this particular programming here itself? So you could able to perform like this here. Okay, so I'd like to show you how to build a simple window here. So I'd like to build a small window here is, okay, import, from tk inter, import everything. I'd like to import everything to my program, and I'd like to define first of all, if you want to perform any kind of operation, you need to have, so you need to have this window here. This window is required. If you don't have this particular window, you could not do any kind of operations here. So very beginning component while we are supposed to talk something about graphical user interface is window. Window must be created, and the window must be available endeavor forever until you have to close. Window must be created and the window must be so available until you have to close. So therefore, I'd like to create a window here. So to create a particular window, so what kind of command you are supposed to use here is, so this is the command which we have to use here. The command will be, so T capital T K off. It is automatically creates one window for you. So some variable, some particular variable will be equal to tk off. Let me write the same thing here. Window, my variable name is, window is my variable name, equal to tk, sorry, small k off, and this window will be continuously display to you, continuously display to you. So therefore, to do that particular thing, so I have operated here WNDOW, so equal to tk, so created one particular window, and this particular window can be projected to your graphical user interface system. How could you do here in the sense, WNDOW, whatever the variable you have taken, dot, so main loop. Main loop in the sense, main loop is always trying to return true. Continuously it is written true here. So therefore, you have to take this particular command to display that particular window here. Okay. So window dot main loop. Let me save this one. So window, execute this one for a while without taking any other kind of thing. I hope that you observe this particular window here. I hope that you observe this particular window here. I'm so taking this one here. You can see something here. The same control menu box has been displayed. Okay, and there is no, so what you call title here. By default, tk has been displayed. There is no title here. And if you want to display the title, what you are supposed to do? So remember, very important thing which we have to remember here is, while working with the graphical user interface system, window dot main loop is the last and final command. In between, you can write many things. In between here, you can write many things. Window dot main loop must be the last and final command. Okay. So therefore, in between, you can write anything here, any kind of issues here.